NICE properties. Yes, that's what we are going to talk about in this video. Actually, auxiliary verbs share a number of distributional characteristics, collectively referred to as NICE properties. NICE is an acronym that stands for negation, inversion, chord, and emphasis. We will talk about these all auxiliary verb properties. As you know, I always try to help beginners so that they can learn English perfectly without any problem. First of all, just look at the first letter N. Here, N stands for negation. As regards negation, auxiliary verbs can be followed by not or take and ending in N in contraction with T. So the following examples you can check here. In these examples, auxiliary verbs are negated with not and with the help of N in contraction with T negation. This way we can negate auxiliary verbs. But on the other side, lexical verbs cannot be negated, as you can check in third sentence, agreed not or agreed not. Here we cannot negate it like that. So on the other side, lexical verbs can be negated. And if we want to make negative sentence, then we need dummy do. Do, does, did, as in the last example. He didn't agree. In that way we can negate, we can give a negative impression or negative sense in the sentence. Second property of auxiliary verbs is inversion. Yes. So we can invert subjects with their lexical verbs or lexical verbs with their subjects. Like, will the agents book the tickets? Here, will as an auxiliary verb, we have inverted it with its subject to make the sentence interrogative. Will the agents book the tickets? Same as in the second example, the teacher preparing an outdoor lesson. Here we have inverted the lexical verb is with its subject to make the sentence interrogative. But this act we cannot do with the lexical verbs. Like agreed he, we cannot say. If we want to make it interrogative, we need dummy do. Again, do, does, did. We need it according to our requirement, according to our subject and tense form. So did he agree? In simple past we have made it did he agree. So we have did here as an auxiliary verb. So that's way we can invert auxiliary verbs with their subjects. But on the other side, we cannot do this action with lexical verbs. So third one is wrong. The term chord in the acronym NICE refers to the property of auxiliaries that allows them to be standard. As you can see in the examples, standard mean to say they can stand on their own, they can sort the verbal constructions. Like, just compare these two sentences. In the second sentence, the teacher is preparing an outdoor lesson, but the teacher isn't preparing an outdoor lesson. We have sorted it. In the first sentence, the teacher is preparing an outdoor lesson, but the lecturer isn't. So this way, this is coding. With the help of auxiliary verbs, we can do coding. We can code the sentences so that we can understand the full sentence on the basis of this coding of auxiliary verbs. Same as in next example, he did agree and so did she. And we can code with the help of auxiliary verbs. Same as in second example, you can check here, he did agree and so she agreed. Here we can code it, he did agree and so did she. This way the auxiliary verbs can stand on their own, they can sort the verbal construction, they can sort the sentences. On the other side, if you see lexical verbs, they cannot stand on their own. As agreed, they cannot do coding. That's what code in NICE properties of auxiliary verbs. In the acronym, the last letter E stands for emphasis. What is emphasis? Actually, the E letter in the NICE refers to prosodic emphasis, mean to say the force with which something is uttered. The prosodic emphasis indicated by some underlined auxiliary verbs you can check here. The agents will book the tickets. Whenever you go through these sentences, whenever you speak these sentences, you can sense that the auxiliary verbs can be emphasized. like the agents will book the tickets, like that. So on will we can emphasize, but on the other side lexical verbs cannot be emphasized. They cannot give us prosodic emphasis. Like he did agree, this is auxiliary verb, so we can emphasize it. Jim didn't watch television last night. Here didn't, it is auxiliary verb, so for the prosodic emphasis we can do that. But in the last sentence you can check Jim watched television last night. Here watched, it is lexical verb, it is not auxiliary verb, so we cannot emphasize it. So this way we cannot do it. We cannot speak like that as we can speak auxiliary verbs. So E stands for emphasis. We can emphasize auxiliary verbs in our speaking part, and it refers to prosodic emphasis. Yes, in this video we talked about acronym and ICE properties regarding auxiliary verbs. These properties will help you to understand auxiliary verbs deeply, and you can use them correctly with the help of these properties, and this concept will help you to understand grammar correctly, perfectly. Thank you for watching it.